everybody, it's Montel here, and welcome to this edition of Let's Be Blunt. My guest today was formerly a celebrity jeweler for A-list stars with clientele such as Jay-Z, Rihanna, Kevin Hart, just to name a few. And in 2019, he decided to transition into the cannabis industry and launched the premium brand Saucey Farms and Extracts in premium brand cannabis products. So please welcome Mr. Alex Todd. Thanks so much for joining us today, sir, on Let's Be Blunt with Montel.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Absolutely. Let's back up a little bit so we can tell everybody where you came from and where you started out. How did you first off get into the celebrity jewelry business to begin with? Let's back up. What's your background? Where are you from?
I'm from Brooklyn. So born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Grew up basically around the Coney Island area. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
Sure.
a lot of good basketball players came from there, Stephon Marbury, etc. But yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, and just honestly, we just always trying to find the hustle growing up in Brooklyn. And school really wasn't my thing. I didn't end up going to college, and just kind of trying to find my way. And I've always been into high-end sales. So I did a lot of real estate. I did private jet charters, always high-end items. And my family, my mom's been in the jewelry business for the last 30 years in Russia. She's been traveling back and forth. And, even as a kid, I was living with my grandma. She was traveling back and forth, and she made a lot of connections in the jewelry world. And it just so happened that I ended up on 47th Street partnering with somebody that was already dealing with a lot of the celebrity ends, and then brought me aboard. We partnered together, and then from there, it just expanded.
So now, were you designing your own jewelry line, or was you were just selling jewelry?
Yeah, it was primarily both. We were designing jewelry and also providing high-end customers with access to watches that they wouldn't be able to walk into the store and get. So we were basically facilitators of high-end jewelry and watches, and we were creating our own jewelry designs and also helping people make custom jewelry and things in that nature.
What got you into the niche? I mean, you don't just walk up to Jay-Z and say, "Hey, dude, take a look at this watch I got," like the one you got on your wrist right now. But you don't just walk up to Jay-Z and say, "Yo, man, take a look at this watch. What do you think? You want one?" How did you get involved with like Jay-Z, Rihanna, Kevin Hart, and other big celebrities?
Through introductions, obviously. We mutual friends were introduced, and in a non-business environment, and they just later just turned into business relationships, which later turned into good, really close friendships. And I think that's really important. Just like when you're doing business, it's it's very important to develop relationships. Not always think about making a lot of money right away, but really try to develop and try to build a relationship with them. And hopefully, like in my cases, many of the times are my people that I do business with have turned into dear friends of mine.
That's right. Well, I mean, I got to tell you now, I would think that the high-end jewelry business would be, the pinnacle for many people, but it wasn't the pinnacle for you. I mean, you decided to leave that business. Had you always been interested in cannabis or what?
Yeah, I've been a consumer for the last 25 years, so I've been into it, pretty heavy, and just for my daily basis, my life, how it helps me with my stomach issues and just my daily go abouts with my daily routine, and it's just the way that once I've seen that there's opportunity to bring it mainstream and bring the beauty of this plan and medical benefits, and also obviously the financial aspects of it, I feel like we can make a lot of money doing it at the same time. So decided to venture into this, and something that I'm doing now 24/7.
And so you came up with a brand, Saucey Farms and Extracts. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, Saucy Farms and Extracts is just, we were, New York transplant New Yorkers. They're coming into a sector that's pretty, farm heavy. And we just wanted to bring kind of the New York swag, New York. You've seen, some of our designs and, some of the aesthetics, just kind of bring like a New York swag to it, and, incorporate the best cannabis in the world, which is California. So it was important for Saucy. It really is all about quality when it comes to the packaging, when it comes to the actual product, the way it's rolled, everything inside. To us, quality is the most important thing. So we know that quality is autonomous with California in terms of cannabis. So we wanted to make sure that our product was launched and is home based is in California, but our goal is to bring that New York aesthetic to the brand.
And you're in California and Oregon right now, correct?
California and Oregon. We just signed a deal actually in Massachusetts as well. We're opening up our first flagship dispensary out there, and we're building out a big cultivation, extraction, and facility out in Massachusetts as well. So hopefully that should be up by the end of the year.
So you are now in California and Oregon. You are just a product with contract manufacturers, but in Massachusetts, you are developing your own grow and your own dispensary.
Here in California, we have our own facilities as well. We have our own distribution, our own manufacturing, and our grow facilities in currently getting constructed. It's almost done. So we'll be almost fully integrated here, besides for the storefront, which we're looking for as well. And in Oregon, we have our own. Not me personally, but my brother has a grow facility out there that's providing all the flour for Saucey and all the other products. So we're not white labeling.
So you're vertical in each location, California and in Oregon.
Correct. Not fully vertical yet in Cali, but in Oregon, we're pretty much set up to be fully vertical.
And in Oregon, you started you partnered up with someone in Oregon, right? I can't remember who it was. You partnered up and kind of developed a high end line. It was, I guess, it was Jim Jones, a high end line of blunts. Is that right?
And that's the CAPO Blunt, actually. That's this product right here. It's as you know, you can't have tobacco mixed with cannabis products on the shelves yet. So we try to develop a product that can emulate a blunt, the smoke of a blunt, the taste of a blunt, and it's a tea leaf, and it's we coat it with keef and with our oil that we use in our vapes. And we use premium indoor flower. It's about 1.5 grams, between 1.2, 1.5 grams of smoke. So that's been our best seller so far as a product. That's a CAPO line, and it's also in Cali. It originated. We're just about to start launching it in Oregon as well. We just actually developed a lean product, which is what we call our lean. It's a syrup to get people actually off the actual lean. It's THC syrup. It comes in 250 milligrams and in 1,000 milligrams. Considered a tincture. That's why we can go so high on the milligram dosage. It's great for medical purposes. If you take a little bit, it's great for recreational purposes. And it's been actually, we just finished R&Ding it, and we've been getting unbelievable reviews on it.
Now I back up for a second to your blunt product. I'm just wondering why you chose a tea leaf and not a hemp leaf. I don't know could you hear me?
Sorry about that. My dog is going nuts. It's quarantine life. So yeah, why did we pick a tea leaf instead of a hemp leaf? Correct? Is that what you said?
A tea leaf instead of a hemp leaf. I'm just wondering. Just a question.
Yeah, it's just because just R&D wise, when we were smoking them, our best taste and feel came from the tea leaf.
Okay. Absolutely.
Just through research and development, it was just our preference. It was Jim's preference. We laid out a whole bunch of different palm leaves and all different leaves that we can possibly use for his blunt, and he actually chose himself the most desirable taste for himself.
And I'm thinking in terms of, right now we're in the middle of this COVID pandemic, which is a respiratory illness pandemic, and there's a lot of pushback, calling this industry, kind of the fake essential industry because, again, respiratory illness runs hand in hand with smoking, whether it be, cigarettes, tobacco, hemp, or cannabis. So I was thinking just you have a lot more edible. Do you have an edible product line too also and other delivery systems?
Yes, like you said, that's like an edible, the syrup, plus we have gummies that we're launching right now, 25 milligram gummies. We're also developing all different types of manufactured products, goods as we're going along. So more of non-smokable, we have tinctures that we're releasing. We have creams that we're releasing. I was just on the phone with our chemist talking about, because he gave me some samples of a cream with some THC in it. And I told him the other day, last night I couldn't move my neck. And my chest was hurting me. I was already getting nervous. I might have COVID or something, and I put some of it on last night. I woke up in the morning like a baby. I feel great. And I told them, I was like, whatever it was that you gave me, we need to put that on the shelves immediately. It's just because it's really a miracle. I literally couldn't move yesterday, and today I feel amazing.
That's great. That's great. Now, I mean, this is a pretty flooded space right now. I mean, did you have any reservations of trying to launch a brand new brand, especially when you really can't promote and advertise other than in the dispensaries themselves?
Yeah, I think that's why I think we have a little bit of a niche here with our marketing and our advertising situation. A, because we have Jim, the type of respect that he gets from other celebrities and other endorsers. So right now you can't market, right? So the only way to market is social media, right? So if you have people that are smoking your product on social media, reposting your products and making your product buzz on social, that's basically the only type of promotion that you can get. So we're, our game plan is all about social media. We're one of those companies. We're lucky enough. One of the partners in our company is part of Rock Nation as well, OG Juan. And, he's got obviously his Rock Nation connections and everything that goes part of that. We get a lot of endorse a lot of sponsored stuff that other companies might cost them God knows how much money, that people do for us just on the strength of relationships and just, like I said, how important it is to keep personal relationships, just to have good relationships and people work with each other and, supporting Jim and supporting our other partners, myself, and just the family that we put together. And that's really the most niche that we have, is that family and basically that dynamic that with the marketing and the social media. And we've got probably over 1 billion impressions in the last year, if we look at our numbers. So we've been really fortunate, being on Forbes and being on Yahoo Finance and CNBC, and a lot of unbelievable press that we received. And it's just, we've been really fortunate this first year to really build our namesake and develop this brand, where it would probably take other companies a lot more money and a lot more, even if they had the money, some of the things that we were able to accomplish were just priceless, just because of relationships.
Gotcha. Now, you said that in California and in Oregon, you are developing out a vertical a situation in both but how do you maintain quality over your product? You actually have the manufacturing facility yourself and you oversee that, or you have your people oversee that?
Yeah, we have a manufacturer in California that we have quality control there. Our people are there to, always making sure we have obvious SOPs in place, certain criteria, THC percentages, certain amount of buds that go into a jar, certain amount, people use shake for their pre-rolls, for example. A lot of brands try to save money and try to, cut corners. We don't use any shake at all in our pre-rolls. It's all buds that are broken up and then rolled. And it's just, like I said from the start, to us, it's really about getting a quality product to the end user. Even our vapes, we don't just use a regular distillate. We use a full spectrum oil that, entails all the cannabinoids in place. And it's, we try to find the best possible products, the cleanest possible products, always innovative, always trying to innovate and try to bring them to market.
How do you maintain consistency from one batch to the next? Because we do know that cultivars change. In one grow cycle, you have one product. The next grow cycle, even with the same strain, you'll have another product. It'll test out differently. So how do you try to uniformly collect a lot of mass material and utilize that mass material as one, like 1 year's product and then the next year's product? How do you do that?
I mean, in Oregon, for example, with my brother's farm, we know that pretty much whatever strain he puts, whatever strains we're growing at the time, he's growing at the time. He knows it's been pretty consistent of what's been coming out. So I mean, it's, if we're growing a wedding cake, or if we're growing a cookie or whatever it is, it usually consistently the same amount per light average, and THC percentages are usually pretty uniform. So it really all comes down to your genetics and really establishing over time, weeding out the right genetics and weeding out the right plants, and just, keeping the moms that work for you. And when you have the right genetics, pretty much uniform. It's not like outdoor. It's all the weed that we grow are from indoor facilities. So, obviously you still need to know what you're doing, but it's a lot easier when you can control your environment. You know exactly what humidity you want. You know exactly what temperature you want your rooms in, and you know everything is filtration system, nutrients. You pretty much if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much play the role of God. So and make your product pretty high end.
So now, if you had to, well, of course you've picked, but I'm saying picking between the jewelry industry and this industry, what do you like the most about the cannabis industry?
Honestly, there's a lot of things I can tell you more that I don't like about the cannabis industry than I can tell you what I like about the cannabis
Let's talk a
industry. I
little bit
think,
about that. What don't you like right now about the
yeah,
industry?
I mean, the fact that, you have to have, to be fully vertical, you have to have a facility in every state that it's legal. We can't cross borders. We can't write off a lot of the expenses. We're not treated like real businessmen. They make it extremely difficult for us to make any type of money in the legalized cannabis space. There's just, the border of entry is extremely high. You need to have a lot of money to get into the space in reality if you want to be successful. I think that needs to change. I think a lot of these programs that they're instituting with the helping out the equity programs and all these programs where people that have been arrested for it, I think that needs to change, because the reality is that most of these people, you're giving them an opportunity, but at the same time you're not, because they don't have the funding to execute these licenses and these ideas for the most part. So they're going to need to partner up with other people that are going to take advantage of them. And it's just, I think that everything is there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things. I can go a whole list of stuff. The taxation in California. I mean, there's tremendous amounts of it, I feel like, flaws in the industry, but at the same time, we're pioneers. So I guess the stuff that we have to go through and hopefully break through to change it for the future. Hopefully if this company keeps going and my kids take it over, hopefully they'll have a lot easier time than what I'm going through.
Absolutely. And, what's most important to you when you're looking at, again, you just said you got a gummy line coming out. What's most important to you as you develop out new lines and new verticals?
Like, for example, so one of the biggest problems I've seen here right now is that we're not growing our own product, right? So I'm constantly on the hunt for white labeling in California, the flower side of it. You understand? And that's been a witch hunt for me, because last year sometimes I was paying $1,400 a pound, and then being able to turn that around and package it and still make some money. Now, the prices have went up tremendously, where you have to pay maybe $2,600 to $3,000 a pound for the same thing I was paying for $1,400 just about a year ago, because of COVID and just because of the drought and the time of the year, and a lot of more police busts and things in that nature, where there's less supply out there. So I think that it became really difficult to you realized we can't make any money unless we're growing and being vertical ourselves. So I think that in itself is a couple $1 million investment if you're lucky, if you do it on the low end, if for a 10,000 square foot, something that would be able to provide enough flour for a brand like myself.
Gotcha. And now you are in the process of building out your own grow right now?
Yeah, one of the partners in Saucey is about to finish a grow that's going to be dedicated strictly for flour for Saucey.
And you mentioned it, you said something about it, but let's talk a little bit about it. How has COVID impacted you and your business and the way you operate?
At first it was a little difficult because I couldn't travel, and I am originally from New York, and my family lived in New York at the time. So I was kind of stuck on the East Coast for the first 3 months when they were telling us to stay home. So the traveling end hurt because I couldn't move around. But as soon as I'm able to move around, things are, in terms of finding work, is a little bit more difficult. People are scared. They can sit home, collect $1,000 a week about right now with the stimulus package, and between unemployment and the Trump $600 or whatever you want to call it, the extra $600 a week that people are getting from the federal government. So those workers, they can sit home, not do anything, and make $1,000 a week right now. So there's a little bit less incentive and a little bit harder to find good work. But in terms of sales have been through the roof.
Good. You've seen sales go to the look. I got to do so. I got to take a little break, pay a couple bills. Let me do that. I'll come back and let's talk a little bit more about what you see in the future, what's coming down the pike. Okay. You listen to Let's Be Blunt with Montel. Our guest today is Mr. Alex Todd, who's the founder of Saucey Farms and Extracts. We're going to take a little break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, and thanks so much for tuning in today to Let's Be Blunt with Montel, where we try to bring you some of the most up-to-date information we can on the cannabis industry. And our guest today happens to be Mr. Alex Todd, who is the founder of Saucey Farms Extracts. But Alex, who is world-renowned and known because he at one point was a celebrity jeweler to the A-list stars and clientele that included Jay-Z, Rihanna, Kevin Hart, and many, many more. And he's now partnered up with Mr. Jim Jones and developing out we would say a premier connoisseur line of cannabis that he has in the marketplace right now. And again, thanks so much to Alex for joining us today.
Of course, my pleasure.
Sure. You were saying, for a little while there, it was tough being able to travel. And it looks like travel is getting tough again because the numbers are going up around the country. But you still see, a spike in sales. Is that right?
Yeah, sales have been great. Now, thank God, me and my family are all on the West Coast, so we're here. So at least I'm able to be out on the West Coast, so I can work. I can move around at least now here in LA, at least visit, do meetings, and do whatever else I can that I couldn't do when I was on the East Coast. So it'll become a little bit easier. And yeah, sales have been great. Since I've been back, especially now, it's half the month right now. We're probably having one of our best months this month. And to be honest with you, if I had more flour, I'd have even better sales. I just don't even have enough flour right now to put out there. We're at an incredible time to be in the cannabis business. If you have flour right now, or if you're a grower, cultivator, it's the money right now is great.
And you again, so are you carried? Is your brand carried in multiple dispensaries? Is that how you do it? You have it licensed out in multiple dispensaries?
Yeah. We have a sales team. We were in about 100+ stores in California. We just launched out of Oregon, literally like a little while ago, 2 weeks ago, and we've been really hot out there as well. We should have we should have a bunch of stores out there real soon. But yeah, our goal is to be everywhere. We don't want to be in one or two places. Our goal is to be in every location, in in as many dispensaries as possible.
And you plan on launching in Massachusetts in the near future?
Yeah, so Massachusetts is a little bit different. We're going to be, completely vertical there hopefully from the start. But yeah, we'll have our own store, which is really cool. We'll have a flagship, and we're by the UMass University, and there's some other cool things that are coming up in that area. We're right by the border of UConn, and we're going to have another store hopefully in the Boston area. So we're excited about that. It's going to be our first East Coast project.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And again, because it'll be completely vertical, you'll be growing, processing, and manufacturing all there, distributing through Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
Good. Any plans for any other states, or are you going to roll out?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. Get into as many states as possible. The key is to find the right partners, because as you know, like I discussed before, the annoyance and the nuances of the laws where you can't basically sell unless you're producing in that state. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous if you have to drink wine that was produced in New Jersey if you live in New Jersey. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense in the world. But that's the type of issues that we need to go through until the federal government gets off their ass and legalizes marijuana.
And you've been on the ground and been working with lots of different people in this industry now for a year at least. And so, what are your thoughts and views about the next coming 6 months, year? What do you think is going to happen?
So I've been in this space already for like 5 years. Saucy's only been around for a year. And we've obviously seen a lot of great steps, a lot of great movement. I think right now in the next 6 months, I think we're going to see a lot of things develop in New Jersey, New York, a lot of the East Coast states. I think Florida's going to start coming around, start changing their laws. And I'm hoping that within the next year or two, I would hope sooner, but within the next 2 years, I'm hoping that the federal government will finally find a way to legalize it and finally be able to taxate and start being able to create jobs for so many people that are still working and doing it illegally when they don't need to. I mean, if they create business for them, let these people pay taxes and let them sell weed if that's what they enjoy and that's what they want to do, and they want to hustle marijuana and they want to be distributors, whichever way they do it, whether it's hand to hand or on a car or in a store or whatever way people want to sell the product. I think they should be able to do so. Just like, liquor, like if you have a liquor store, you can sell liquor. From anywhere in the country. You can get wine from France and you can get wine from California in your liquor store, and that's the same way it should be in with the weed.
And, you're looking in California where, I know that the industry has been really kind of crippled a little bit by the gray, dark market that has been burgeoning because of the level of taxes that have been extracted in California and some of the daunting municipality rules and regulations. What do you think about the black market impact on this industry?
Yeah, I mean, that's where people are. That's why one of the reasons why right now this economy is thriving, because there's a lot less and less of the black market. The police are trying to slow that down, which is great, and I think that's one of the reasons why there's a lot less supply out there and people are being forced to go to dispensaries and start buying it legally. But yeah, I mean, it's much easier for a guy to buy it from a guy on the street and not pay a lot less in taxes and probably get a better quality product. So I mean, it's kind of hard, I'm stuck in a spot where, hey, do I call my friend Joe who's got a better product for cheaper, or do I go to XYZ and pay a little bit more and maybe the product's not as good.
Right. Gotcha. Well, the product line is called Saucey Farms Extracts. It's available in dispensaries. If somebody wants to get more information, Alex, where do they go? Where do they go to get more information?
Go to sauceyfarms.com. You can go to saucy.la. Our website, our Instagram is Saucy Extracts and Saucy Extract. We have a couple of them because, Instagram's funny. Sometimes they shut you down. So we had a couple of backups. So, and yeah, you can find Jim Jones at Jim Jones, obviously our partner. And we're all over. Just Google us.
And now, do you plan on expanding out your celebrity line, or you just intend to stay with one celebrity, meaning Jim Jones line? Do you plan on having other celebrity lines out?
Yeah, I think we're definitely always looking for the right fit. It's got to be right. Like, it's got to be organic. It's not just, I want to get Post Malone because he looks like he smokes a lot. So it's got to be organic. It's got to be like a family, someone that we actually fuck with. I don't know if I could say that here, but
sure.
Somebody that we mess with and, someone that's part of the family and that we want to work together. Like, I'm at a point in my life that if I don't want to spend the money with you, and I don't want to make it with you. So I want to make money with people I want to spend it with. And I think that's very important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here and being a part of Let's Be Blunt with Montel today. You've been listening to Alex Todd, who is the founder and CEO of Saucey Farms Extracts. And you can get that product if you go into Oregon or into California. It's in dispensaries, so just go out there and take a look at it. And I guess if they go to your website, you'll tell them where to go to pick up the product.
Yep, exactly. We have a store locator on there, and give us a shout.
Absolutely. Well, you've been tuned in to Let's Be Blunt with Montel. Make sure you tune into our next edition.